What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about regarding Sundial stock, ticker symbol SNDL. This thing just popped 20% on amazing earnings news, a share repurchase program, and a whole bunch of other catalysts that are sending this thing into the stratosphere. If you take a look at the chart, you'll see what I'm talking about. We have pumped up massively in after hours on this earnings news and the report that came out with it. So we are up over 20% from where we closed today and up almost 30% from where we closed yesterday. Incredible stuff for Sundial, blasting through the 70-cent resistance and on our way to $1. This is incredible stuff. You can't actually see it on the daily chart, but we're actually up on the daily chart to around here. We're around here on the daily chart. So let's break down what happened in the earnings call, what the share repurchase program is going to do, some gamma squeeze and short squeeze potential. There's a whole lot that Sundial has going for it, so it's going to take a bit to explain. But first things first, the earnings call. So we had net earnings of $11 million for the third quarter compared to a $71 million loss in the third quarter of last year. So incredible change in the company, right? The company's turned profitable. They're no longer losing money. Really good, right? A lot of the concerns that people had for this company was that it was a money loser. A lot of people were shorting it because of that. We'll see if that changes tomorrow. But net revenue from the cannabis segment was $14.4 million for the third quarter, and this is an increase of 57% versus the second quarter. So just over the past 3 months, they've increased their cannabis segment revenue by 57%. Incredible stuff. And what's really impressive about this company is that they have $1.1 billion of cash, marketable securities, and long-term investments as of September 30th, and $1.2 billion as of November 9th. Now, if you actually look at their company profile, you'll see that they have a market cap of $1.4 billion. So they actually have about $1.2 billion worth of cash and cash equivalents. So really incredible that their market cap is still so low, right? There's basically no goodwill fund added into this company's market cap, only $200 million worth of goodwill and, people's expectations on them performing well in the future, which they just started doing. And they also highlighted that over the course of the year, they acquired Spirit, which is a cannabis producer, and entered into an agreement to acquire Alcana, which is Canada's largest private liquor retailer. We've already covered this stuff on the channel, so if you want, you can check out those other videos. But that's the earnings news. Now, the share repurchase program is even more exciting because one of the biggest reasons that Sundial hadn't been doing well over the past, if you look back over the past couple of years, you can see that they had fallen massively. And most of this was actually due to dilution, right? They would oftentimes put up shares for sale so that they could raise capital for the company to run because they were losing money every quarter, and they needed some capital to stay afloat. Well, this is actually the exact opposite of that, right? They're actually starting to purchase back shares. They just got authorization to repurchase up to $100 million worth of its outstanding common shares, which is incredible stuff. A big reason that a lot of people were shorting this is because they had been known to dilute and dilute and dilute. And that was actually a lot of the reason why shorts would enter into this stock and kept pushing us down, in addition to the massive dilution. We'll talk about shorts in a minute because there are quite a few shorts in Sundial who are likely panicking right now. But this is enabling Sundial to opportunistically return value to shareholders, right? So they're going to start repurchasing shares, and there is a stipulation that they may only purchase a maximum of 102.8 million shares under the share repurchase program, and this represents approximately 5% of their issued shares. So about 5% of their market cap or shares outstanding could disappear depending on how they do this, how often they purchase the shares and at what times and what prices. About 5% of their market cap could disappear and re-enter the company. So really good stuff. And this hasn't even happened yet, right? The Sundial has just popped off on the news that they had great earnings and that they have a share repurchase program coming out. This isn't even actually the boost from Sundial purchasing their own shares back. So I can only expect that they will be doing very well in the future off of this. When we actually start to see them buying shares back and when they announce specific dates that they're looking at. Now, those are the fundamental reasons why Sundial is doing very well, which, we were all expecting that Sundial would eventually do very well. This might be sooner than a lot of us were thinking, right? When a lot of people ended up getting involved in Sundial over the past couple of months during this huge pump, people thought that this might be a multi-year play, that you might have to wait a couple of years for Sundial to start doing well. I was a little bit more bullish on it in the short to midterm. I thought that mostly we would be rising on legalization news. Obviously, that's still going to pump us up massively when we start to see legalization, but we've already started to get a big pump going. And this is just in the minutes following the release of this earnings. I mean, we could open up much higher than this. It's not a guarantee. Obviously, we could fall a little bit, but it is overall very good fundamental news. And we'll take a look at the shorts and what we could be seeing in terms of a short squeeze. So on loan, there are about 400 million shares short. Now, if we actually try to click on the short data for Ortex, you can't actually see it here. So we just have to look in the bottom right hand of the screen. Unfortunately, Ortex is having a little bit of a glitch right now, but if we look in the bottom right, I'll remove myself from the screen. You can see we have about 400 million shares on loan, and that's essentially equivalent to shares being shorted, right? And that represents a 98.3% utilization rate, so this means shorts have very little ammo left. They only have about 1.7% of the shares left that they could short if they wanted to. They've already shorted 98% of the shares that they possibly can, and the shorted shares represent 19.95, so essentially 20% of the free float. So very, very scary short statistics for shorts. If you're in this thing as a short, you really have to worry about the potential for a big short squeeze coming, okay? Because you're already, especially, if you were shorting over the past couple of months when this thing was down below, where it looks like it's sitting around 87 cents, 85 cents, it hasn't been down there that long. So most of the shorts are still in the money. If you look back over the past year, most of the shorts are still in the money. However, over the past couple of months at least, we've definitely been trading below 80 cents and 85 cents for the past while at least. So a lot of shorts will actually be down on money at this point if they were entering their positions more around this time frame, right? All of this is below 85 cents where we're currently at. So a lot of shorts are now in the red. And I can only expect that as we continue to trend up over the next couple of days, a lot of shorts might think about exiting their positions. And 400 million shares is not a small amount, right? 400 million is actually about 20% of their free float. So we could really see a big rise in Sundial stock price if a lot of the shorts end up buying back shares. Now, another thing that we have going for us is the potential for a gamma squeeze. And we have talked about this on the channel before, of course. However, what you need for a gamma squeeze is rising prices. And let me explain very briefly how this actually works. So you see different strike dates. And we'll look at the November 19th strike date just for the purposes of this example. You can see that we have 132,000 open interest call options at the $1 strike price. Now, what this means is that likely institutions have sold about 132,000 call options, and people are now holding those call options. Institutions who have sold those call options have not necessarily bought into the underlying shares, right? They don't actually have enough shares to pay out to the investors who want to collect those shares if these options expire in the money. So what happens oftentimes is stocks will rise past the strike price, which shares start needing to be paid out to the investors who have bought the call options, and institutions will then have to start buying up those shares, raising the price even more. If they don't actually have the shares already, which most of the institutions that were selling call options probably haven't been holding Sundial shares, especially looking at the short interest. It actually seems like a lot of those institutions may have been shorting Sundial instead. So it looks incredibly likely that we're going to see a gamma squeeze if we can get Sundial above $1, right? We have 86,000 open interest call options, absolutely massive amounts. For the $1 strike price on November 12th, which is tomorrow. So we'll see if we can pump up $1 before then. We could actually see quite a bit of action regarding a gamma squeeze on Sundial. And November 19th, we have 132,000. So we have another week for that one. Starting tomorrow, we have another week before these expire, and it would be absolutely incredible to get Sundial over $1 and start getting those institutions squeezed and having them have to buy up more shares of Sundial. So that's what we've got. That's the catalysts that we have for Sundial. Obviously, amazing fundamental news for the company came out. It has never looked like a better buy, in my opinion. I'm still holding all of my Sundial shares. Very happy I am. They will be doing very well over the next couple of days is my expectations. Obviously, they could always get pushed down. There are a lot of people who've been holding Sundial who may want to take profits on it, but I think that people holding Sundial are also waiting for the big squeeze, the big pump, and a lot of them will probably continue holding. So I do expect Sundial to be doing pretty well over the next couple of days. Obviously, it's not a guarantee, and when we hit legalization, when we get legalization, I expect it will do even better than this. So that's what I've got for you on Sundial. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Other than that, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.